This Packers board was from a little bit ago. We actually added this is the win totals. Let's talk about them from like an NFL standpoint. Like their win total at 11, their favorites to win the NFC North, 5-1 to win the conference, 12-1 to win the Super Bowl, 13 wins last season, 13-4. Again, as we transition over some of their weapons, Tyler, if you want to show, give people a little bit of a look. I've seen Rodgers fall to quarterback 14-15. This is from a little bit ago, but the Doubs thing is fairly new. It's fresh. I have seen him go higher than wide receiver 80. This is kind of average here over the last month or so, but out of training camp reports, I'm sure you hear it following this Packers team. He seems to make a play every single day in camp. And as you know, Green Bay's got a pretty solid secondary. So he's going up against some really strong players there. And I guess, 2 months ago it was Christian Watson. They bring in Watkins. They still have Cobb there. Lazard as well. I'm pretty excited about. And as you know, and you kind of touched on it, I could hear it in your frustration, in your voice a little bit, the frustration. Oh, I wish they would have drafted Bateman. Or, I thought they were going to draft Ayuk at one point, a couple of years ago. And you mentioned Landry is super cheap. Rodgers has thrown a touchdown pass to one first rounder in his career. One. And I know you know that. It's Mercedes Lewis.
Yes, I know it. Now, let's not discount, though. Jordy Nelson went like 34th overall, so he was a second-round pick, and he's had very good wide receivers for a long time. But
what's the deal here with Green Bay? What are they thinking? Rodgers is just so good, it doesn't matter. He can kind of make it work with anybody. What's the feeling in Green Bay over the years with the lack of talent at the wide receiver position?
Well, because they've been chasing defense for the last 10 years. I mean, since they lost in 2012, 11, 12, 13, 14, it's been because of the defense, right? They get to the championship game 2016, Atlanta just tears them up, right? They get to San Francisco in 2019, San Francisco tears. They have been chasing first-round draft picks. Their defense right now has all starting first rounders or free agent signings. All 11 guys are either first round picks or free agent signings. So the defense is loaded. Don't sleep on the defense. I mean, in fantasy drafts, they're going 9th among all defenses in the NFFC. I'm telling you what, Jair and Douglas and Amos and all, I think they could get a lot of picks this year. And Gary is just primed for a big sack season. So I think the Packers defense in fantasy is going down. But that's the reason why they're not drafting wide receivers. And they're picking 30th. You talk Ayuk. They wanted Ayuk so bad, and San Francisco traded up ahead of them and took Ayuk right in front of them. Bateman, he went like 19th, so it was before. They're drafting 30th because they keep losing in the conference championship game every year, so it's tough to get a good pick. But, he has been restoring that defense enough now. Now we got enough of them. I give him credit for moving up for Watson. I think Watson has the potential, but not this year. I mean, he had a scope on his knee after OTAs. He hasn't practiced yet. Romeo Doubs is a 4-year starter at Nevada. This guy looks pretty polished, and you don't hear Rodgers talk about a rookie the way he did. He said, we've seen people make catches like 87's doing, but all of them are in the top 10 of all-time receiving records at Green Bay. So that says something. But here's another one. Yesterday in practice, they did an RPO, and Doubs did not catch it. And Rodgers waved him off the field. He told him to get off the field, and they brought somebody else in. He's always been tough on rookies. I'm telling you what, I was at a game with MVS against Buffalo where he ran the wrong route and almost went for a pick six, and Rodgers was in his face, and he never gave MVS the doubt again after that. He really didn't. So I think Doubs has a very good chance. I'll tell you what, his ADP right now in the NFFC since Friday is 141. 141. Whoa. He's going in the 12th round. He's gone as high as 101 in the NFFC. Again, these are pay leagues. This is the online championship. This guy is on the rise in fantasy, and he could actually do well. Anquan Bolden, many moons ago, nobody knew about him, and he just went off and was, wow, how did we miss on that guy? I think a lot of people are saying they missed on Doubs, scouts I'm saying, because he had a bad Senior Bowl. He didn't really play all that well. He wasn't impressive at the combine. But on the field, this guy's catching everything. Very impressed with him right now.
So is that too early, or is that just people being really savvy and just like, hey, man, I'm doing it? Like somebody in this offense is going to step up. And I mean, Rodgers is former MVP. I mean, multiples, like he still has it. There's no question. Like he still has it, very accurate. But I've seen those things as well. When he gets frustrated with a guy, it's like, that's it. Like you kind of lost my trust a little bit. We need to rebuild that trust. He can't just fall to Adams anymore. Like Adams is not there as that safety blanket. I mean, he's got two really strong running backs that can catch the rock.
Correct.
And then Lazard, who we really didn't get into. But do you think that price is fair? What did you say? What did you say? 140?
141 he's going since Friday. 141.
So that's in the range of like, I mean, Watson's kind of in that range. Dotson, Devontae Parker, DJ Chark, Joshua Palmer. So, I mean, I don't hate that. I think there's certainly some upside and something to be said about that.
So the feeling is it's a fair value right now. Like you say, he's going where guys, he's going below Watson yet. And that's shouldn't even be happening because Christian Watson's not going to get on the field right away. So, so here's my think on the Packers. They want to run the ball and play defense this year. They're going to go 2-back set an awful lot, and they may go 2 tight end set with the 2-back set an awful lot. I think that Aaron Jones could be the leading receiver for the Packers this year. I think they're going to swing him out of the backfield an awful lot. I think they're going to match him up with linebackers with Dillon in the backfield, and he's going to get a lot of receptions. Doubs could be solid, but Allen Lazard is their number 1 wide receiver. His ADP in the last week has been 76, okay? He's moving on up as well. 76 is his ADP since Friday. Rodgers has said nothing but good things about Lazard. Lazard was great in the red zone. What do you have, like 9 touchdown receptions or so? So this is a guy who can get the job done. He's going, again, 5th round right now. His value's gone up pretty high, but I do like him. Outside of him and Doubs, I'm kind of off all of the Packers. I mean, Sammy Watkins is at 207. Keep an eye on Tunyon. He had ACL surgery, but they think he will be ready for week 1. He's going tight end 23, so you really don't even have to draft him. But just watch. Maybe he might be a good first fab pickup or so. But outside of those guys, that's about it. I really think Aaron Jones is going to lead the team in receptions this year.
I agree. Yeah. So just as you were talking that out, where you gave her the latest ADPs, you really see the significance in Allen Lazard, right? Like 76, I think that board said like 111. And at that point, like there's pros and cons about drafting early. You know this, but man, the value goes away at this time of the season. He's been an absolute steal. I was going to ask you, I got him as a top 40 wide receiver. I think he's going to be a strong wide receiver 3, a red zone target. I think he's fantastic. And Tanya, I was going to ask, and you just touched on him. Man, 2 years ago, he was really, really efficient. Certainly had the trust of Rodgers, definitely in the red zone. I got him as a top 20 tight end. And you're right. Maybe somebody that we're talking about come fab time is like, hey, this guy is, he's back to having Rodgers' trust and he's healthy and he's an option. We'll get out of here on this. Just, you touched on the running backs. We have a board of just the 2 guys. So we've kind of asked this question to most people. You said Jones is, you're in on him. He could lead the team in catches. If you don't get Jones, are you making A.J. Dillon a priority? I think, you don't have to. For me, I think people can get trapped if they have, strategies you kind of play. Sometimes your strategy can change and, whatever, if guys fall to you, every draft is different. But man, having one or both of these guys as a priority, not saying to draft both, but if you miss on Jones, I think, where Dillon is going, I think he can have a breakout. And when I say breakout, topping 1,000 yards on the ground, topping 40 catches on the ground or through the air. Do you have a preference, 1 or 2, depending on where they're going?
Well, I do love Jones at 2, but again, we talked about how you start your draft, right? Let's say you're looking for an RB2. Let's say you start out with a stud running back and then you go 3 wide receivers in a row, and there is Dillon at pick 60 at the end of round 5. My goodness, of course you want to grab him. I do think he can get 1,000 yards rushing. They're talking about how he worked on his pass catching all offseason, and I was impressed with his pass catching last year. It was much improved from his rookie year. So I agree, 40-plus receptions from him. This guy is so loved in Green Bay. He married a girl in Green Bay. He lives in Green Bay the whole offseason. He goes to Door County. They call him the mayor of Door County, which is a vacation area in Wisconsin on the Bay of Green Bay. He is so loved. He's such a cool dude, and him and Jones get along so well. Jones is going to make $20 million next year. So this is honestly his last year in Green Bay. And so I think you're going to see part of the transition where Dillon really picks more of the offense, more of the running game. But I love Jones. He's so good near the goal line. He really is. He's so small, but he just finds a way to get in. He will be their goal line back. As big as Dillon is, Jones will still be their goal line back. I love them both. I'd love to see both of them get over 1,000 yards. But again, Dillon, if you're looking for that running back in the 5th or early 6th because you kind of went wide receiver heavy, perfect for your RB2.